Okay. Now we're gonna get real.
And we've got transcriptions. And hi, my real name is Susan. But I'm pretending to be Tom tonight. Tom had an opportunity to go with family off to up to a beach, so that's where he is. I'm delighted to be here with you all. And oh, I see Nicole's dog. I'll spotlight Nicole quick, and then I'll do the slides from Tom.
Oh, I saw someone else's dog waving. It's International Dog Day.
Oh,
We've got a one-eyed Chihuahua mix here too.
Oh, give me a break. Where's that dog?
and I'm trying to remember. Somebody just Catherine Maynard Woodman adopted a one-eyed Vizsla puppy. She was on a pro call earlier this week.
Oh, wow.
I was like, where was there another one-eyed dog this week? There you go. Okay, so let me do my slides, and then Nicole's going to give us an awesome workshop.
Okay.
So hang on.
Hello.
Okay, of course the slides aren't teed right up, so hang on. Yeah, good. No. Huh. Well, let me look for them. Nicole, you want to tell people what supplies they need to have?
Go get 4 pieces of paper from anywhere. I don't care what kind of paper. If you have thick paper, that's wonderful, but you could just grab some from your computer, rip some out of your kid's notebook, get some old paper bags, fold them in half. You just need 4 pieces of paper. I prefer human tools today as opposed to you drawing on a computer kind of tool.
Okay.
That ability. If that is within your wheelhouse. Should do it.
I found the slides.
All right.
Here we go.
Here we go.
All right, so we are at the Friday night workshops, but you all are smart. You knew that. Only the slides aren't advancing. Ooh, excellent, right. SAW is a 501c3 nonprofit online courses. And coming soon next week. I know it's kind of fuzzy, sorry about that, but it's going to be Friday Night Comics with Whit Taylor. The year-long program is just about ready to get started on September 1st. If any of you are interested, there's a YouTube video of the live Q&A that happened earlier this week and a few more days to sign up. Our program at SAW is run by tuition that people take for classes, but also donations. There's information over there about how you can donate to us if you'd like to. I'll also paste that into the chat later. This was a Q&A that happened on Wednesday. Share tonight on social media. We'll have the tags printed multiple times over in the chat. That's more about donations. A little bit more about donations. Please, no inappropriate speech or imagery. We were Zoom bombed once and it was horrible.
Oh God.
Enjoy. And here's Nicole's website. Is this a capybara?
That's a tiger.
No. That's a tiger. Okay.
That's fast. There's a capybara.
This one here?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And there she is, and relative fiction. And with that, I think we're ready to turn it over to Nicole.
Hello. Nice to see everyone's faces. Thanks to everyone who has their camera on. It's nice to see your faces. I have a question, and you can use your reaction button. There's a version of this where we can just work on our booklets about the people we want to spend time remembering, or animals. That's about 40 minutes long. If you feel that you have that in you, will you put a thumbs up in using the reaction tab? And I will, if you don't, I can trim a little bit off of it. You're also welcome to bounce whenever you need to, you know, of course. Okay, I'm seeing some thumbs. I'm just going to scroll for thumbs. Some people do, some people don't. You can also just meditate it. Your other option, I don't know what your other option is. Your other option is exactly the same thing, just a little bit less time with it. Lucy Bellwood, nice to see your Zoom face. Okay, thank you everyone for your thumbs. I really appreciate it. And it seems like we're split 50-50, so let's just see how we go. My name is Nicole. Some of you know me, some of you don't know me. I also teach comics workshops. I teach at California College of the Arts, and I teach independently. I teach graphic memoir workshops. And you can find out about those by following me on Instagram at Nicole Georges or going to my worldwide website. I'm the author of zines called Invincible Summer and the books Calling Dr. Laura and Fetch. And in Calling Dr. Laura, I talk about family secrets and the death of my father. And in Fetch, it's primarily about my dog Beja and my grief around her passing. It also has, I mean, both of these also have the grief of losing romantic relationships or losing a relationship with family members who are still alive. So I invite you tonight. Tonight, we're doing an interspecies grief workshop, which means I'm going to have you try and think of someone, human or animal or relationship, that you would like to spend time memorializing or spend just a little bit of time with. You can choose an animal, a pet. You can choose a human being who you've lost. You can choose somebody who's still alive, just for whatever reason you're not in relation to them. Anyone who you feel grief about. And, you know, the work we do, you don't have to show to anybody, but I just want to, you know, as I've done with my other SAW workshops, I want to bring you into the practice of being able to use your comics and your art, not as a capitalist tool for making shit people can buy. Sorry, PG-13. Stuff people can buy. Sorry, kids. This is the real world. Just kidding. But I want you to be able to use your art as a place to have an experience and to spend time with yourself and grounding yourself, and sometimes spend time with people or animals that aren't around right now who you wish were. And this might be the only time you get to spend with them. And so I'm really happy everyone's here and that you're willing to try this practice. Thank you for saying you don't mind the language going blue. I'm sorry to any youthful children that were just scandalized and heard the S word for the first time. I promise not to do it again, but just kidding. I'll try. I'll try my best. Okay, so what I want you to do is have your 4 pieces of paper. Oh yeah, put my graphic novels on hold from the library, or get them from your local bookstore, or go to a comic book store and say, why aren't they here? Or order them from some evil empire and then leave me a great review. Unless you hate them and then just forget about it. Okay. Fold your paper in half. You're gonna make a booklet. So you have 4 pieces of paper, any paper. I don't care if it's your old shopping list notebook that you've ripped 4 pieces of paper out. Okay, here we go. We have this booklet. So I'm gonna do a combo this evening. As people who've worked with me know, I'm such a devotee of Linda Berry. And so I use some of her prompts, but I also, this workshop is an adaptation where we're going to end it doing some comics that are not affiliated with her prompts. But in taking Linda Berry workshops, we do something called a character booklet, where we really focus on somebody, a real person, a person we miss, or a fictional character, and we kind of dig in and write about them using these timed prompts. I did this in her class as a way of writing, and then one of my friends died, and I had a bunch of friends get together, and we all did the same character workshop, but we did it about our friend who we missed, who had passed away. And it was really nice to be able to be in a group holding that space to just really dig into her memory and who she was. So I'm going to incorporate a little bit of that tonight and a little bit of straight up comics, because this is SAW, and we're just going to do it. And some of these things, you know, if we do the abbreviated version, you can go back to it later and add to it as you wish. And there will be time at the end if you care to share. about anybody or anyone who you wrote about. And to me, the grief of a pet weighs just as heavy on my heart as the grief of a friend or a family member passing away. So you can do yours about a bunny. You can do yours about a rabbit, about a dog, a cat, about your parents. You could do it about a relationship. You could do it about your grandma, whoever you want. Whoever you choose, write their name on the cover of your booklet. And I'm going to share my iPad screen, even though I don't want you to use your iPad if you can help it. If you can't help it, if you're like, you know what, ability-wise, I need my iPad. Great, use it. You're gonna, whoever you want to memorialize, spend time with tonight, be it somebody who's living or not living, you're gonna write their name on the front of your booklet. And if you can, please make sure you're muted. We're gonna try and stay in the zone. So if you lose track of what I'm doing, just do your very best to try and use context clues to pick it back up. Okay, I'm gonna use my phone as a way to time us. We're gonna do some timed things. So I want you to open up your booklet to the first page. And the first page, not the inside cover, but the page directly across from that. And I'm gonna have you draw a frame, like a panel, right here. Taking up about half the page. So you're really thinking about someone or some creature, living or dead, who you miss, who you're having grief around. You know, the most obvious way to do this about somebody who is no longer with us, living wise. In this box that you just drew, I want you to think back to the first time, the first memory you have with this person or animal. The first memory that you have. This could be you meeting them at the shelter. This could be you, your first memory with them as a young person. Whatever it is, I want you to spend 3 minutes drawing the first time you encountered each other that you remember. And I'll set my timer now. So 3 minutes to draw the first memory you have, the first time you remember encountering this person or creature. If you can mute, please mute. And you have about 2 minutes left. You have about a minute left. You can add any kind of Whenever you're ready, I want you to spend another 3 minutes just underneath it, writing about that moment. I want you to think about any details you remember from that moment or from that memory. How they smelled, how the air felt, how old you were, what season it was, where were you? Just going to spend 3 minutes writing about that time, writing about the first time you remember encountering them. However you want to write it, this is just for you. We have about a minute left. Do you remember anything anybody said? If you can include any dialogue that you imagine people said, that might be fun too. Start wrapping up. Whenever you're ready, I'm going to have you turn the page to the next spread in your book. And you're going to draw, get this ready here. We're going to do another frame situation. So here's your next spread. You're going to draw a panel right here that takes up about half the page. People who've worked with me will remember this one. I want you to think about, leave this back of the page you were just working on blank, but also you can't do it wrong. So Walter, don't even worry about it. Let your freak flag fly. You can't do it wrong. And much of this, the first half of this book is not in order in a way that will be messed up if you do things on a weird page. So just go with your flow. I want you to think about an object you associate with this person or creature. Think about an object you associate with them. And I'm going to have you draw it in the panel. And we're just going to spend 2 minutes. So like, if it's my dog, it might be her favorite bed or her special monkey toy that she kept her whole life. If it's my grandmother, it might be the list of dating profiles for elderly men that she printed out and kept on her table to look through. So draw an object you associate with whomever you're writing about. We have about 20 seconds left. And whenever you're done with your drawing, you're going to write about it underneath the drawing. So whenever you're ready, just write about this object or why it was important to them or why you associate it with them. Just really trying to conjure them here. You could also think about a particular memory where you remember them with that object, if that's what comes to mind. We have a little less than a minute left. And this is one of those things you can come back to later if you want to. Start to get to a good stopping point. And whenever you're ready, we're going to turn the page. And we're going to just, for the next 2 pages, we're going to do the exact same style of turn the page, leaving the back blank, and drawing a box. And we're still in the inspired by Linda Berry zone, and I will put her book in the chat when we're done, where you can find exercises similar to this first part that we're doing. So you're going to turn the page. Whenever you're ready, you're going to draw a frame or a panel that takes up about half the page. I want to start with the writing this time. So underneath that blank box, that blank panel, well, no, we can start with the drawing. I just want you to imagine them. I want you to imagine them and their ideal, typical day. What's something they did every day that really showed their disposition towards the world? Was it them eating crackers in the bathtub? Was it them watering the concrete outside of the house to make sure it stayed clean? Was it them feeding birds? let's actually start with the drawing. Let's spend 3 minutes, try to draw them in a moment, like a normal moment, not necessarily them hang gliding, but a normal moment that really showed their disposition towards the world. Kind of everyday thing. This could be your cat napping in a sunbeam. This could be somebody arguing with a clerk over 13 cents. You have about a minute and a half. See if there's anything you can add to it that really shows the setting. We have about a minute left for the drawing. And whenever you're ready, just spend a couple minutes, just 2 minutes underneath it. You can write anything you want about them. If it brought up a different memory, if you want to write about their habits, or if it makes you think of if it makes you think of either a particular memory, or you can just describe this habit or this occurrence that you witnessed. Be as specific as you can. Whenever you're ready, you're going to turn the page. We're going to make the same box. And this is the last time we're going to make this same box. So whenever you're ready, you're going to turn the page. You're going to make your panel, your frame, your box, your cell. And I want you to, I'm going to give you a choice. I want you to think about the last time you saw them. And if the last time you saw them feels too traumatic to write about right now, for whatever reason, you could also write about the last time you thought of them, or the last thing that happened that made you think of them. So let's start with the writing. Well, let's start by writing the last time I saw blank, or I thought of blank when. So you have a choice. Choice A is the last time you saw them. And it's okay if it's sad. But if that's not where you're at tonight, you can just say, the last time I thought of blank when. Just spend about another minute writing any details you want to. And whenever you're ready, truly whenever, no rush, you are going to draw a scene from whatever you've written. You can draw any part of it that you want. And we're just going to spend a couple of minutes drawing whatever piece of that you want to. We have a little less than a minute left. Whenever you're ready, you can always come back to this too. But whenever you're ready, we're going to switch gears a little bit. I'm going to have you turn the page. And I'm going to have you draw kind of a wordless establishing shot. I want you to imagine the two of you together, somewhere you wish that you could be together right now. It could be anywhere in the world. It could be an imaginary space or a real space. You could take up the whole spread with this if you want to, but that seems so wild to me. I would just take up an entire page, just drawing. You're turning the page. So wherever in the world you wish you were together, or whatever, wherever in the cosmos, we're going to spend about 4 minutes just drawing the two of you together in a place where you wish you could both be. So still in your booklet, if you've run out of pages, it's okay. You can just grab more pages. I'm not going to come to your house and grade your booklet unless you pay me to. Otherwise, you're on your own with your therapeutic drawing practice. And you two could be doing whatever you want. You could be dancing, you could be eating, you could just be talking, you could be swimming. Have a little more than a minute left to add whatever details you'd like to this drawing. Get at anything you guys would like to have together there. This is a place you wish you two could be together. Whenever you're ready, on the next page, and this is artist's choice. I am a little bit scared of drawing on the back of pieces of paper where you've already drawn in case you choose to ink this, but you could choose to do that if you're a wild child. But I want you to draw two panels. They could be across from each other, or they could be on top of each other like mine. I'm just afraid that you're going to ink one side of it and then ruin the pencils on the other side. You know what I mean? I want you to feel free at the same time. Okay. You're going to draw two panels when you turn the page. And again, if you ran out of paper, just grab some more paper. Doesn't matter. This can either be just you in the panel, or you can draw both of you. But I want you to draw yourself saying something that you want them to know. So imagine that you're both still in this space, this ideal space that you just drew. You're both still in this ideal, beautiful space where you wish you could be together. And you're turning to them and you're saying something that you really want to say to them right now. You're going to say something to them that you really want them to know. And we only have a few minutes. So depending on your drawing speed, you could just draw you saying it to them, and we know that they're still there, or you can draw them in it too. But draw yourself saying something that you really want to say to them right now, something you really want them to know. And you don't have to share this with anybody if you don't want to. This gets to be just for you. But we will have time to share later if you are inclined to. And they're going to have an opportunity to speak back to you. So no stress. And you still have about a minute. A little less than about 30 seconds. Whenever you're ready, in the panel beneath it, they get to say something to you. They either get to respond to what you said, or they get to tell you something that you need to hear from them. So in the panel underneath it, they're going to speak to you, whether they're an animal or not. And they're going to say something to you either in response to what you just said, or they are going to tell you something you really need to hear right now, or you really wish you could hear from them, or you need to hear from them. We have about 30 seconds left. In the last page, again, we're gonna do a full page, and you can draw yourself a frame or not, or if you're a real daredevil, you can just go across the whole spread like a cowboy. But I want you to draw what happens next. You can draw, you can draw the two of you, that you're still in this space, that your imagined space, but you can draw the two of you together hugging. You could be flying, dancing, crying, breaking something, whatever whatever feels appropriate for the next panel. This is the last drawing we're going to do of you two. And so I want to make it a nice closing space. Where are the two of you after you got to have this conversation that you really wanted to have? Are you hugging? Are you flying? Are you both eating a Subway sandwich together? How do you want to leave this booklet? How do you want to end this booklet? And of course, it's not the end. You can do this whenever you want. You can add pages whenever you want. You can just talk to them in this booklet. You can make this booklet go on forever and just use it to talk to them whenever you want. But if you need a hug, draw a hug. You can even change the scale. They could be huge. You could be in their lap, vice versa. You could be sitting in their mouth, whatever you need. And you can be, I'll give you a little extra time if you want to draw yourselves saying anything too. But remember, this is comics. You can fly, anything could happen. can just grab more paper if you need it, Erica. Don't worry about it. I have about 2 minutes left for this drawing. You're welcome to add anyone else you want, you know, living or dead. Anyone else you want there. You can draw a snowman if that would make you feel good. Anyone else who loved them, anything you want. We have more time. So I just want to say, as you're finishing your drawing and staying in this space, this nice container, after we finish our workshop, you know, you have more space in your book if you want to add more memories or notes, if you want to draw them on the cover, draw a picture of them as a young person or young creature on the cover, anything you want later on. If you ended up having to add more pages, that's just more opportunities for you to have more conversations with them, the people you miss. Take as much time as you need to finish this drawing and really just feel like you're getting to say to them what you want to say. And it's okay if you're crying or you're having a feeling. But whenever we're finished, anybody who wants to share, I am happy to stay as long as we need. If anybody wants to share any part of this, if they just want to tell us who they drew it about, or if they want to show us one of the drawings or one of the pages. There are so many of us. There's 106 of us. Thank you. Can I say, while you're finishing this, thank you everybody for sticking in there and sticking with this. I know this is a longer version than you normally do with these Friday night workshops. Yes, everything is being recorded right now. So also, if you want to share and you want to personally send me something, you can. I want to tell you, I have a podcast called Relative Fiction that includes family secrets and grief. You can email me after this through my website or DM me on Instagram. You can tag me in anything on Instagram. And if you want to share, I'm really happy to hear about anybody who you were drawing about. I would really love to know about them. I think that could be an important part of the process. But for anybody, I'll put it in the chat. Okay, I'm going to call on people. Is it Deb or Debbie?
Unmute.
Hi.
Hi. I thought this would really, be very sad, but it wasn't. I mean, it is, but it isn't. So this is my grandma, and it says cozy, comfortable, content, safe, both forefingers bent at first knuckles from arthritis, small flowers all over the cotton dress, a variety of orange colors, a belt that matches, old lady black shoes with thick heels that tie, quiet, comfortable voice, and safe.
Oh, I love that. Will you keep holding it up there for a second? Is that you next to her?
Yes.
Oh my God, I love your little feet.
Oh, you're gonna make me cry. Because it was, well, anyway, I won't go through all of it because obviously those things are long. This is one of my favorite memories of coming home from first grade for lunch, those long ago days. And she was baking cookies. And that was not unusual. And so I said, taking care of us, me, baking cookies, only her, later only me, reading to me, being with me, comfy, cozy, quiet, safe, safe, quiet, comfy, cozy.
Oh, I love that so much. Thank you so much for sharing those with us.
And then, do you want any more?
I think I have to go to the next person.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
if you have any more to share, please email me or send to me anyway. I would love to see them. I love your writing and I think the drawings are so perfect.
Excuse me, what is your email, Nicole?
I'll put it in the chat.
Okay, thank you.
I'm not a wonderful pen pal. So if you write to me and I don't write back right away, it's not for any purpose other than I'm a horrible pen pal. You can ask any of my beloved students who are all here, probably waiting on emails. ND.
Hi, can you hear me?
Hi.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. So I had a lot of trouble starting because I couldn't think of who I wanted to write about. And then I realized it wasn't somebody who I really cared about that was on my mind. So I wrote about my sister, and the first memory was her dancing the Rolling Stones. I wish I would have drawn this in pencil first, just because the sketches are so bad. But it was the first time I heard music that I thought was rock and roll that was good. And that was my sister dancing in front of a mirror. But then, the Rolling Stones, I found a little bit more about them. I was only like 6 or 7. I found a little more about them a little later, and this is the concert that ended up being a riot.
Oh, yeah.
That violence was, this is 1970, the
Altamont.
Made in the Shade, yeah. Made in the Shade was 1975. So it was long before my time, but the violence in that, sort of hidden in the beauty, was relevant to our relationship, and we were very vicious to each other. So the last time I saw her, I didn't do all the panels because I was falling behind.
Okay.
But last time I saw her, we were getting high at her co-op. She bought pot for us, and it was her turn to cook. So she kind of ignored us the whole day. Then the pot disappeared, and that was kind of like the last time she was on the map. She went homeless after that. And every once in a while I see a police blotter of her being arrested for vagrancy of some sort or another. So I mean, what was the ideal thing is like 2 houses long ways away from each other, just leave me alone, it'd be okay. And then the last panel was like, sort of what happens next. It was she's asking for money, and I say, okay, I'll set up an account, but you don't have to call again. So, not quite the happy memory, but
very real. I
actually
thank you
worked
so
out
much for sharing that.
sure.
I really love it. Kel.
Hi. So I took the interspecies thing super literally, and I did this about my cat, who's been missing for a couple of weeks, actually. Yeah, so I haven't given up total hope that she'll come back, but because sometimes it can take weeks or months, but I'm also kind of like grappling with the fact that like she might be gone forever and just kind of processing that. So I made my little booklet about when I walked in the coffee shop and I saw the flyer to adopt her, and the big like scene that reminded me of her was she would love to sit by the window, and she actually ended up escaping out that window. So like I wrote about how it was totally beckoning to her. and how like I saw her through it. I don't know. And thinking about, I don't know, her being back
Oh,
through that window someday. And then my very last panel is me
hold it real
finding
close. Yeah.
her in a
Oh,
bush one of these nights. I'm sitting in my backyard where I've been like camping out a lot with like food and stuff, hoping she'll come by. So hopefully I'll find her. And this was really helpful to help me. Like I'm very actively processing that. So I chose to come tonight to really like dig in and do that. So it was really special to spend some time with her where I hope I'll see her again in the actual place. So thank you.
thank you so much for those. Jackie.
Next. You're mute.
There we go. I was kind of wrapped up in what Kel was saying. I had a cat that was missing for a month and we found her. And I never thought I'd see her alive again. So I hope you have the same good fortune. This is to my friend Sharon, who died in 2000 in a plane crash. And it was like 6 weeks before my wedding. And when I gave a eulogy at her funeral. Like when I first met her, we were at this women's meeting and we were both 6 months sober and she was infinitely more happy than I was. And I like wanted to run over the car, but I didn't have a car. And the object was, this is like our medallions. Last time we had them together because we were very close in a lot of different landmarks, and we had 8 years, and we both got these coins. And that was the last time we were able to get them. And just the last time I remember, I don't really remember the last time that I saw her, but I remember the last time I talked to her, which was when I was this summer, taking a very dinky seaplane across a lake. And I'm like, if there's anybody who, you know, I just was basically like, can you keep an eye out for us, Sharon? Like very specifically, that would be great. And then this is us, fast forward, if she was still around, we're having little birthday cakes together. And I'll skip the part where we're talking to each other, but the last panel is, I gotta go now, because after she died, I had a dream that she called, she had an outgoing message on her answering machine, and that she was okay, that she was in heaven. And then, you know, like just like in the dream, I'm in heaven, I'm okay. Thanks for sharing my anniversary with me again, you too. And that's that.
Thank you so much.
No, thanks for letting me share.
I'm so happy to know about her and to hear your story.
Oh, thank you.
Chris, and everybody who's sharing, please look in the comments. There's a lot of love for you there. Everybody who shared.
That was very touching, Jack.
Hi.
I went interspecies myself, and mine's called Rosie. Rosie was a brown rat that I got one day.
Oh.
And my first memory of Rosie was at the pet store, basically rescuing her from being snake food. But I was shocked that the person at the pet store dropped her into a box, put the lid on, and then started slamming her pen to make air holes. And I thought, oh my God, that's going to freak Rosie out.
Yeah.
Rosie's probably favorite object was a spaghetti noodle. And, you know, I think of hands because when you have a rat, it's hands and whatever they like to play with, and she liked to eat noodles. So if I put a noodle near the edge of the cage, she would just lunge at it and try to pull the noodle into her cage. Rosie liked to run on a wheel. That's what she liked to do. And the last time I saw Rosie, Rosie had a really good life in a communal house that I was in Santa Cruz called the Daily Planet. And I remember I rode Rosie to the vet on my motorcycle, and I was standing there, and the vet was telling me like she's paralyzed on half her body and she can't breathe, and it's just time, you know, for Rosie to embrace peacefulness. And he was telling me he could stick a needle into her and take her misery away. And my last, what I miss about Rosie is that if you tickled her with your fingers, she would flip over and kind of, she would make this funny little noise like she was laughing, and she would kick at your fingers. And so that's my memory of Rosie.
Oh, thank you so
Oh,
much.
that's so
God,
so
the-
good, Chris.
the heartbreak of rats.
Yeah. she was
So
really-
intelligent with such a short lifespan. Thank you so much for sharing that. There's a lot of love for Rosie in the chat. Okay, who is next? Is Priya.
Priya. Priya, I can't make you bring you on camera till you
Sorry
turn
about
yourself.
that.
There you go.
So I didn't went a different route. I thought about writing about my dad or my pets, but we did that a few weeks ago with pets. And I thought might be better to go something different. So I went with someone I've never met, the author Ray Bradbury. Because and I was thinking about the fact he appeared to me first with Fahrenheit 451 and There Will Come Soft Rains, about how fire burns things, but it can leave behind sparks of ideas that don't burn easily. And about how he rented a dime typewriter for every hour. And to talk about lions that were on flat screens that leapt at parents trying to turn them off. How he kept cranking out words, and when he was a kid, a man who played with electricity knighted him with it, telling him he had a destiny. And I last saw him actually in a Neil Gaiman short story called The Man Who Forgot Ray Bradbury, and When All Had Forgotten. I'd always thought I'd get the chance to meet Ray, but it never happened. I would have liked to write with him in a cafe and to be able to say thank you for the influence that he had, for the lions, for the velts, for the advice about writing. And it'd be nice to go explore those worlds with him in tow. I'm sorry, it's not as bad as the hard part was thinking about what he would say, because as mentioned, I've never met him, but it was definitely a very cathartic comment, and thanks for letting me go off script.
Of course. Thank you so much for sharing that. I
That
really
was great.
appreciate that you found your own way and you went through it in your own way. You're a true artist.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hi.
Miska.
Hi, Mishka.
Mishka. Hi.
So I wrote about my dead spy friend. So interspecies, in that I made him a bunny because it's easier to draw. I may have met him during the first week of college at a camp, but I don't know. And I was just texting a friend. We can't remember for sure if he was there. His special talent was striking up conversations, the in-depth conversation in random places. He was a journalist. An object I remember is us going to a golden pagoda. The last time I saw him was the morning of September 11th. And he happened to be my only real friend who was Muslim at the time. So it was interesting. He stayed with us the night before. And where I hope he is, I tried to make a Shangri-La. I don't know if you can see this, but and here his death was declared as suicide. So I'm hoping that he just escaped to the mountains, as he hoped to do a couple of weeks before. Some people saw related drawings a couple of weeks ago.
Oh.
And somewhere in here, oh, this is me saying, I'm sorry too, because he said, I'm sorry I had to go.
That's so lovely. Thank you so much for sharing that.
You're welcome.
It's really beautiful.
Thank you.
Anita.
Hi, thank you
Hi.
so much. Oh, thank you so much for this opportunity. I came late, but it was because I was sharing my grief drawings with a friend of mine. My late husband died. Let's see, can you see my drawing?
No. What's the trick to this?
You have to turn off your background.
I'll turn off my background. Hold on, I'm modern, I can do that. Anyway, None. Okay, here we go. My late husband died 3 years ago. Oh, now you can see it. And I came in late, but I know his favorite object was a book he read all the time. He was also very practical. His favorite object could have been the car or something he was fixing. And I recently thought about him when I was down at the place where we had our last anniversary in May of 2018, and I did a drawing about it. And in the drawing, he's saying to me, I've done a really good job being dead these 3 years. You know, I've been drifting through the galaxies, and you've done really well with your grief and drawing. But you know, done is done. Let's resume where we left off. And it's about that disbelief in death, you know, like, come on, long enough, done is done. Let's go back to how we were. So then I drew us eating breakfast when we were out at our farm.
Oh,
These
I
are very
love
happy,
this drawing.
very happy times for us. And then I really love the way you framed this. And I told him how grateful I was that I drew him through all of his medical times. I drew every ER hospitalization, and I thanked him for the courage and the humor that I found, because I could, then when other things happened that were difficult, like COVID or personal challenges, he had taught me all that courage and humor. And then he said, well, darling, I'm sorry to take you through so many tough and difficult and painful times. It wasn't what I intended, but I saw you were able to be brave and courageous, and your comfort helped me so much, even when I cried out in pain. And I knew you were tough and kind and would make your way after I was gone. And then the last one is we're dancing. The way we danced when we would go and have a night out after taking care of my mother.
That's
So
real beautiful.
And he's saying, so grateful you helped me through the hard, tough times, but I knew you could do it, and that you'd go on to be able to do more documentary drawing of all of reality and tough times, and that nothing is so scary you can't draw it.
Thank you so much, Anita.
Thank
for
you,
doing
Anita.
that.
You're welcome. Thank you.
You know, that brings up another way you can use this is also, you know, we're living in this pandemic where things are really different. So even if you have grief about a thing you used to be able to do that you can't do anymore, sneezing on your friends, going to a restaurant, you can draw that, you can acknowledge that feeling by drawing it, you know, and you can move through it instead of having all these things lodged of like, this is just the way it has to be now. You get to move through some of these things in the way of using your art to just kind of experience them and acknowledge that it's sad. Marlene.
Yeah, good morning. I'm going to speak. I thank you for this opportunity, first of all. And it is so touching. Anita has brought up so many lovely memories of my mother, Ethel. And, you know, it's ironical that I've only done comics drawing for 4 months, but I've learned a lot. It's really expanded how I feel inside of me. And it's, you know, I thought of comics to be comical, but it brings this element where one can express grief, such as what I'm going to do this morning. My mother was a wonderful mother, passed away at the age of 82. I was born in South Africa, but live in Sydney, Australia. And so when I was born, my first memory was that she held me very closely to her bosom. And I looked up at her red lips and said to myself, oh, she's really pretty. And I like her pearly teeth. And her sister said, what a lovely baby you have. You know, so that sort of came to me today. What a lovely baby you have. And I really enjoyed that thought. She had a very special dog named Patches. that she loved. And I think she loved both of us equally. And so the three of us were together quite often. During her lifetime, she was loved by many people. As you can see, a cup of tea and a sandwich is always something that was available to anybody that passed by. And she would even get people to come inside and sit down and share whatever she had available. She wasn't academically educated, but her wisdom and her knowledge is something I will always treasure. This is Mom and I having a good time. You can see the notes at the back. And, you know, we sort of dancing to an imaginary band and having a good time, even though she's gone since 2003, which is about 20 years ago. And then I drew this because I thought of us being a couple of reindeer maybe, and we're going across a ravine with this bridge that she built, and she is offering her back for me to jump onto from the one side to the other throughout my life. And I really do miss her at times. And she's always in my life. Sometimes life becomes hard like this whirlpool, but my angel is always at the back of me, so thank you.
Thank you so much. That's really lovely. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
Before we get to Lucy, I want to say if anyone is interested in Linda Berry's book that I mentioned, it's called Making Comics, and there's a character booklet or a character exercise at the end. And if you use that with the prompts, you can spend a lot of time with anyone you miss or any characters you want to get to know better by using those prompts. Lucy, hello.
Hi, friend.
Hi, nice to see you.
Hearing this. Yeah, good to see you too. Boy, this is such good timing. So I'm a caregiver for my dad, who's in his 80s. He has vascular dementia, and I've been really grappling with how to grieve that process because it's very indirect. So this comic was about the earliest memory I have of him is holding his finger when I was put in an isolette right after I was born. And I have this really, really deep childhood memory of like, he stayed with me the whole time I was in there, and I gripped onto his pinky finger, and he always tells this story of like, oh, you were there and I was there, and we just connected for this like long period of time. And it ended up being a good bookend for this. This is his photographer's vest, which he always wore. He is not a photographer or a fisherman. Has an eccentric dress sense. This is him at the Coffee Connection, the little coffee shop that he used to go to every morning, where he would mentor writers and complain about people and read the New York Times and drink too much coffee and smoke cigarettes, which we didn't want him to do. And the last time I saw him this is a drawing of this morning where I'm changing his adult diapers and telling him that I'm going off to work for the day. And he's asking me, how long are you going to be gone? Because time is hard for him right now. And he thanked me for my help before I left. This page was really hard because it felt like writing about the last time I was going to see him, you know, which is something I ask myself a lot, is like, what if he was gone when I got back? What if this is the last thing I say to him?
Yeah.
And the place I wish we could be together is, there's a storage unit in England, my parents are English, that's full of his childhood stuff. And he always talked about wanting to go and clean it out. We're still paying for it, and it's really not possible for him to go now. So this was really unexpected and lovely to get to draw and realize like, oh, we could be there together, like looking through his childhood stuff. And I said, I really, really miss you, because I do, even though he's still here. And I realized that the appropriate thing to do at the end of this was to have him grab my pinky finger, which is a drawing that I haven't inked yet because I really wanted to get the hands right, and it's hard.
That's hard.
And he's saying you can't lose this. It's part of you, which is something I think about a lot these days. And the last drawing is me getting to kind of feel a little weightless, because it's been a really heavy season. So this was so needed, Nicole. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for sharing all that. Damn it, you guys.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
The family members, the pet, the rat, everybody, the friends, the partners. Thank you everybody so much.
This was wonderful, Nicole.
Now you all have to comfort me. Just kidding. I just really appreciate everybody spending time, spending the time to do this. I know it was long, and it's just such an honor getting to hear about your loved ones in all the various states of loss that we experience. So this is a practice you can keep up. If anybody wants to, I'm going to put the name of this in the chat. There's a really easy breezy app called Genius Scan. If anybody wants to scan, or do you just photograph any of your pages to send me just for any reason, even on Instagram in a DM or whatever, if you didn't get to share, or if there's a picture you want us to see closer, you can send it to me and I will be happy to see them. Again, I'm a rotten pen pal, so an ongoing back and forth might not be in the cards, but I would love to see them. Anyway, even if I lose track of emails after, I have the brain of a goldfish when I look at my emails. I'm just like, what? And then I'm doing something else. Anyway, thank you everybody so much. It's such an honor. And that's it. And much love to all of you. And I hope you all get to like dance or fly or eat or hang out with your loved ones in any state from any part of their life on the page whenever you need to.
We usually all go off mute and thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
That seems
That was
appropriate. Thank you,
wonderful.
Nicole.
Thank you, Nicole.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome, Nicole.
Come and get the dog.
Wonderful opportunity.
Thank you, Nicole.
So good. Oh, we're gonna get to see Panya.
Students, Sarah and
We have to
Ilana, Max,
finish
and
with an
Steph,
animal.
and everybody.
Oh, hi, puppy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
everyone.
Nicole.
Have a good night.
Bye, Panya.
Bye.
My perfect dog.
Aw.
She's smiling for you.
That's a good
Aw.
grin.
Good smile.
Yes.
Good dog grin.
Bye, thanks.
Thanks, everyone.
Can someone share the link again for the after thing?
After party link, yes.